Hello again, I'm Felipe Iglesias and this is Talking Design. Today we are going to talk about work, but work on the creative fields. Here there are 10 tips for creative teams to work efficiently from home. Avoid skeuomorphism. When you work from home, the dynamics with the people in your team are completely different. You're working in a separate environment, you cannot see them in the real place, so you are not having the real image of the situation. In order to have a better communication with the team, you have to be very careful about wait before they speak. Be attentive and do not interrupt them. You cannot have a look to your best pal in order to create some affirmative response. And we have to be very clear when we speak. Everyone has to understand what we're saying and we have to be very eloquent about our ideas. As possible, put your camera on. Maybe not during all the project, but at the beginning when you have to confront the ideas and you want to achieve a better understanding. It is better if you put your camera on because it will seem that it's almost like you're in the office, even if you're losing a lot of body language. But at least you can be a little bit more fluid, you can be a little bit more human, a little bit more in place with them. It will make it easier for the team to achieve a common agreement. Schedule your meetings in the morning. I think this is key because when you are working on creativity, you must be awake, you must be sharp. If you're not sharp enough, you will be not very useful for the team. So I recommend to put the meetings in the morning from 10 to noon. So in that range, you will have the best of your team. You can work in asynchrony. You can make a little video about the main aspect of the debriefing. In that way, the team could replay afterwards what you said and put attention in the aspects that maybe at the moment they didn't catch or understand really well. After that, if someone have a doubt or wants to make a clear situation about something, you can talk directly to them by chat, by text, whatever you want. Second point, setting the rules. That's very important. A project needs an structure, and that will give clarity to the team, and also it will avoid a lot of losses of time. The moments are definition. In definition, you will explain what the client wants, what are the expectations, what is the main goal of the project and the purpose in order to have a clear idea of what it's all about. The second is exploration, where you're starting to see what is the best way to take an idea and put it forward. Then is creation, and in creation you will start to doing the project itself, designing the wireframes, whatever you want. And after that, consolidation. That is a middle step because this is a recursive cycle where you define that, okay, this is right, this is not, so we are going in this way and not this another way. This is a good way to give continuity to the project, but at the same time, being able to change something if it's not working. I think it's always better change something at the beginning of the project and not at the middle. If you procrastinate the main issues of a project and try to put it at the end and then revisit everything, you will lose a lot of time and you will create a lot of frustration. As in science, the creativity also needs an hypothesis to be tested. Otherwise, you're just playing chicken game. 3. Be generous. Share your vision. I have been in many projects where people think that everything is clear because they talk a lot about at the beginning, but sometimes nobody understood what you said. So you have to be very careful and be sure that everyone has understand what you said. An important thing about this is not just give clear instructions, but also share what you have in mind, because nobody can understand really well what you have in mind if you do not explain well. This will give a meaning to the team. As Roberto Verganti said, meaning is a great motivator for humans. Nobody wants to suffer at work. Do not put your team under stress because you were not able to explain something. They are not mediums, they are not magicians. So you have to be clear of what you want or what the client has in mind. And you must speak simple. Sometimes there are many people with a lot of experience, with a lot of seniority, who speaks in a really complicated way, and you see the face of the people melting when they are listening because it's too much information and too complicated. So try to lower the bar, try to level your language. If you know something very well, you don't need that fancy words. The basic rule is do not demand to others do something that you cannot explain but yourself. 4. Be empathetic. Remote working is complex and is stressful sometimes, so try to put in the pants of the others. Because even if you have a great chemistry when you're working on your studio physically, when you're working separate through apps and chats and mails, it's not the same thing. So you will lose at least 70% of what you have in the studio. This is not time for lessons. Yes, everyone learns through a process because it's part of the human behavior, it's part of what we are. But you cannot force that in this moment. People need clarity, need instructions, and need a path that is recognizable to go forward. 5. Be kind, be patient. Not everyone has the same reaction to change and to this pandemic. People are different, so you must modulate your reaction with them. Sometimes they will take more time to do something, maybe they will take less, it depends on the person. So be the best yourself. Try to be gentle, try to be hopeful, try to give them security so they will respond in the better way as possible. If you are stressing so much them, they will do a lot of mistakes and you do not want that on our design project. But also, be clear, not everything is going to be smooth. It's obvious that people is different and some people are more complicated than others. Understanding that, if you have some problem, if you have some issue, try to solve it at the moment. Moreover, in writing communication, you will have this lack of tone of voice, so you are not sure if they are angry or they are just pointing something. So ask before assume that something is going wrong. So in that way you will avoid a lot of misunderstanding. 6. Schedule as possible. I know that it's complicated because sometimes you are working on different projects at the same time and that will need a lot of coordination. If I know if I have to deliver something in 2 days, in 1 day, I will put the rational effort to do my best with that time. Otherwise, I will lose time, I will be delayed. To avoid that, it's better to organize the time schedules in a very efficient way so everyone is clear of when they have to deliver something. And the most important thing, it's allows improvement and evaluation at the end of the project, because otherwise you are just working in the void. Notwithstanding, if you have to clear something immediately and you have to speak with someone, just do it. Do not overcomplicate. 7. Ask and give feedback. The project is not your baby, so you have to share what are you doing in order to have a better perspective, a more real perspective. We are working in design, we are not working in art. It's not just our personal vision about, it's our collective vision of something. For example, with this channel, I asked a lot of people for feedback. So in that way, I could improve this. That is the right path from a minimal viable product to a high definition one. If you do not test your ideas, you will never know if they are working in real life. On the other hand, when you give feedback, please do not be that dark, do not be that critic. First of all, start with the good point. Even if they are not so much, try to focus on the good intentions and try to explain why it's not working. That way you will not demolish your team and you will not have people that is sad. And at the end, when you have sad and confused people, they will just give you a response of your critic and they will not explore the best possibilities. You want the best of them. You do not want to be coercive with them. That is the difference between authoritarianism and authority. You want to be an authority for them, recognized by wisdom. Creating is not a poker game. You have to show your card every time, each time. In that way you will win. 8. Be stupid. You know, for me it's very easy because I almost look like a human caricature. So stupidity, silliness, absurd, helps you a lot to discover what is the truth behind the stuff. I grew up looking at Tom Jerry, Tex Avery shows, Three Stooges, and I love them. I am still looking silly stuff. For example, I read a book of Eric Idle, Always Look on the Bright Side of Life, or John Cleese. So anyway, and they are very insightful people. Comedians have this quality to understand that reality from another perspective, and that gives you a lot of insight for your work. As Groucho Marx said, humor is reason gone mad. And don't take me wrong, I take my work very seriously. You know, not as serious as science or medical studies or calculus, well, you know, the things that keep people alive. Being stupid, being silly, try to work with words. First of all, will make you more reliable to people. People will think that you're an easygoing, so they will share more information and will be more open. That is very important in a creative process. So, embrace stupidity instead of behave like a stupid unconsciously. 9. Distract yourself. Working 24/7 is not ideal, it's not good for you. You will be killed or your life will be miserable if you're working all time without rest. Most of that stories of successful people working endlessly are myths or PR stunts. Not because you are working at home, that means that you can work endlessly. When someone tells me, look, I have working all week and doing this, it's just meh, you think, how inefficient. Effective teams works the right amount of time the project needs. If you feel that you are not doing good enough, you feel broke, just go out. Well, not go out, but take a nap, eat some chocolate, go to the balcony, do something else, read a book, whatever you want. But stay away from work when you are not productive, because you will not achieve nothing. And also, distract yourself when you are too concentrated. That could sound strange, but the thing is, when you're too concentrated, you are putting a lot of effort to work and do the best you can do. And at some point, your capabilities will start to fade. To avoid that, when you feel that you're too much in the stuff, do something completely different. And then, when you are doing something different, you will be, oh, I want to go back to this thing. And then your productivity will be better. So you are maintaining the peak of work instead of suffer the decay. It's like when your parents told you when you were a child, do not pick your nose, and you did it. And 10, your home studio is your studio. I know that for many people it's super complicated to try to separate their own life in the house, but when you're working at home, you're just doing that, working. So from that 6 to 8 hours you dedicate to work a day, trying to maintain the same ritualism of your office. Dedicate a place of your house just to work. It could be a desk, your living room, your kitchen, the balcony. I confess, I did many projects on bed and they were very successful. Good natural lighting and fresh air will help you a lot. You will be staying more relaxed, more focused on your work. But also trying to maintain a schedule of your work. If you're not mentally structured, it's better if you can schedule your task, put it on writing, and then follow that during the day. And most important, do not overthink that you are enclosed. Try to maintain contact with your colleagues, with some friends, with family. In that way, your work will flow. And that's it. Thank you for your time. I hope you like this. Like the video, subscribe, and leave your comment. They are very important for me in order to improve this channel. And see you next time.